What is up, guys? It's me, Rivah, and I am back again with another video. If you're new here, my name is Rivah, and I'm here to give you guys my reaction to this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and press play, let you guys hear everything that this pastor had to say, and then I'm going to give you guys my feedback after.
Women are making is when you're looking for a perfect guy, no issues with them. He's wonderful, he's dark, and handsome, tall, white, and handsome, whatever colors you like. He has to have a job, he has to have a car, he has to have a house, he has to have money in the bank, he has to have muscles or things that are on your checklist. It's all wonderful, I get that, because you're looking for a perfect man. And I'm telling you, this is where you're going to be disappointed. Because, ladies, you don't really want a man to come in your life who's already great. That's very dangerous. Because when the man is already great, he has everything. He doesn't need you. That's why he will abuse you. You need a man who desperately sees you as a helper, sees you that you can pull the greatness out of him, sees you as a partner who will build an empire. That's the kind of man you want. Women are making is
all right. First of all, I'm gonna break. You know how I do. Okay, if y'all know who I am, you know how I do. But I want to say one thing. First of all, okay, I want to say two things. Then we're gonna break down the actual conversation. First thing I want to say is, how come out of nowhere all of these pastors are all of a sudden telling women about their wants, needs, desires, and it is not necessarily like in the direction of happy wife, happy life all of a sudden. I'm not trying to say Kevin Samuels has a huge influence. I'm not trying to say Kevin Samuels is the reason why. I'm not trying to say that all these pastors watch Kevin Samuels, but what I am going to say is that it surely seems so. It surely seems that people see the fact that when we start talking about certain aspects of relationships, you can possibly go viral, it can possibly build your platform, and so they gain traction by talking about that. I'm not trying to say that other pastors haven't already been talking about relationships, but this has been in like a week or 2 weeks. This has been the most that I have seen pastors talking to women through the narrative of, what you're desiring is wrong. Okay? Because most of the time, pastors used to tell you, write a list, make it plain. If you want them tall, make them tall. If you want it dark, make it dark. You want them to have 6 figures, write everything down, and God will bless you with that exact man. That man on paper will come to life and reveal himself to you. He will drop out of the sky and present himself. Now, all of a sudden, all these pastors are over here saying, no, women, your choices are the problems. Your decisions are the problems. Your ideas are the problems. You're a little bit delusional, and they just say it in a different way so that it goes across a little bit smoother so that the ladies in the audience can go ahead and clap. Why, though? What inspired this conversation? Because I'm not going to lie, I didn't hear nobody talking like this when Kevin Samuels was alive. Just got to be clear. I didn't hear any pastors were going harder, spreading the opposite conversation when he was alive. But now that he's not, a lot of pastors, bishops, whoever it is, evangelists, are changing their conversation when it comes to women to say that they want to quote unquote help them, right? That's a whole different conversation for an entirely different day, but I couldn't, enter this conversation without saying that. Nextly, I'm going to press play so that I don't miss any mark, but there's a lot of things that I want to say in regards to this conversation.
when you're looking for a perfect guy, no issues with them. He's wonderful, he's dark, and handsome, tall, white, and handsome, whatever colors you like. He has to have a job, he has to have a car, he has to have a house, he has to have money in the bank, he has to have muscles or things that are on your checklist. It's all wonderful, I get that, because you're looking for a perfect man. And I'm telling you, this is where you're going to be disappointed.
Okay, so right here, from what he said to the beginning to right now, I agree with. Looking for perfection, because at the end of the day, there are people who can be really close to perfection, but nobody is without spot or wrinkle. It's just not possible. That's how some people can say, oh, I don't want a man with kids and end up marrying a man that has kids. I don't want this, I don't want that. You do need to have certain things like non-negotiables, right? Which should be a man's principles, a man's spirituality. If you're a Christian and, going to church and, somebody believing in Jesus is important to you, then you need to be with somebody who has that same exact belief system. You can't go into a relationship and you're so devoted to Jesus and this person doesn't believe in Christ at all, and now you have two different, you're trying to blend something that's not blendable, right? It's completely different. Now, you have a lot of women who are looking for perfection in a man. That's true, but they forget that they themselves are not perfect. You want the perfect man. You want the man that has muscles and he's this and he's all that, and you're overweight. You let yourself go. You're not the same person that you were in the beginning. So it is that a lot of people are trying to look for perfection outside of themselves, and they're not bringing perfection to the table. So this part I agree with, right? This part what he said I agree with. Now where I thought he was gonna go with the conversation, he went a completely different direction. So let me press play again.
Because, ladies, you don't really want a man to come in your life who's already great. That's very dangerous. Because when the man is already great, he has everything. He doesn't need you. That's why he will abuse you.
Now, this is where me and this man cannot agree. Okay? He doesn't need you, and because he's financially well off, because he's already stable, because he doesn't need your assistance, because he already had his vision, his purpose, his plan, and he pursued that very thing that he wanted to do, whatever his dreams or aspirations were, he will abuse you. This is again a pastor spreading a false narrative, okay? Because there's men who are broke that will abuse you. There's men who don't have a dime that will abuse you. There's men who are living off of a woman and will still abuse them. So I don't like the fact that it makes it seem like if a man has everything put together, he doesn't need you, he'll abuse you. That's not true. That's not true. That's saying that all men across the board, once they have their life figured out and you're just the missing piece to the puzzle, they will abuse you. They will harm you. They will hurt you. That's not true. That's not true. Every woman is not going to meet a man that she has to build with. Okay? There's some men that have already figured out their plan, their vision, and they are focused on their goal. They are already in the position, and they say, the only thing I'm missing now is my wife and my kids. Now I'm pursuing a wife. So we have to have the full conversation, because he's saying it's very dangerous if you have a man that's already great, because he'll just abuse you. So it's telling women, it's so ironic, because pastors have been telling women for years, don't lower your standards, don't change this, and now you have a pastor who is saying, lower your standards. You don't want a man that's already great, because if you get that man that's already great, he's going to abuse you. It's great. That's madness to me, because it's untrue. Just because a man is financially well off, just because a man is stable, just because a man has figured out his goals, his dreams, his plans, whatever it is, does not mean that that man is inherently going to abuse every woman that he comes in contact with. That is not true across the board. We can't say that. And the real truth, if we want to get into it, the real reason why some women don't want to be with a man who's already great is because they have no control over the situation. That's the real reason why they don't want to be with a man that's already great. Because they know he doesn't really need them. And since he doesn't really need them and he has options, they can't act the fool. They can't get around him and start acting a fool, talking to him crazy. They can't reveal those parts of themselves that they have not evolved, right? They can't showcase certain behaviors towards this man. So they'd rather get with a guy who's a quote-unquote project person, because he'll deal with more because he feels like he has to, because if he doesn't have me, he doesn't have anything.
You need a man who desperately sees you as a helper, sees you that you can pull the greatness out of him, sees you as a partner who will build an empire.
This is why when it comes to talking to women, it's not everybody's forte. I'm just being real. This is how you know. Because this conversation is double-minded. This conversation is saying you cannot be with a woman who is, as a woman, you can't be delusional. You can't say you want them tall, dark, and handsome. And at the same time, it's saying you need a man that sees you as a partner, that you can see the greatness in him and pull it out. I understand being supportive, right? I understand being a helper, being cooperative with your spouse, being submissive to your spouse, and also being able to be a form of motivation for your spouse. But when you start to say, you need a man that needs you. Do we understand the women that we're talking to right now that think that they are God's gift to the earth and that men can't live, eat, or breathe without them? And now you're telling this woman, oh yeah, you need a man that needs you in his life. You're saying this part of the conversation, but let's press play and let's fast forward, a year down into the relationship. And that same woman is going to turn around and say, yeah, because you need me. And if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this. And if it wasn't for me doing this, you wouldn't have that. That's why men have changed the way that they are maneuvering with women. No, I'm not going to show you that I need you. Actually, I'm not even thinking about women right now. Let me focus on my purpose and my goals. And now this pastor is saying, if you focus on your purpose and your goals, and a woman meets you now, she's going to be expecting you to abuse her because you don't need her to get where you're going. It's crazy. It's crazy. I want to read what he said. He said, stop disappointing yourself by searching for the perfect man. Seek the man who sees you as a partner and needs you in his life. Pray and trust in God. Let the right man come into your life and build an empire together. Can we also just normalize the fact that everybody is not going to have an empire together? Can we just also normalize that? Because there's so many women who get with a man and he's working a certain job. He loves his job, right? He's not called to be an owner of a company. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to have employees. He loves going to his job, making his money, and doing his thing. And you know what she's going to do in turn? She's going to try to turn him into somebody else because she really wants the guy who owns a business. But that's not what he's passionate about. If everybody in the world, in the whole entire world, is entrepreneurs having empires, who's going to be the people who work at the grocery store? Who's going to be the people who fix the cars? Who's going to be the people who do all of these things? So when it comes to this empire talk, we also have to normalize the fact that sometimes it's not about that. Right? Some people are goal and purpose driven. You get two people who are focused on a goal, focused on a purpose, and that's the reason why they're in a relationship. Fine. But some people, they're just really meant to do their jobs, live happily ever after together, and call it that. Because that's what makes them happy. Them being in the service industry and serving people is what makes them happy. This whole concept of this conversation. Now, again, this is only a clip. I don't know, he could have said some stuff before, some stuff after, but just based on this clip, like I said, it's a very double-minded conversation. Very double-minded because at the end of the day, he's trying to tell women the truth, but being that women are the main members of the churches, right? You have 80% women in the churches. He's trying to tell them the truth, but then he's also trying to tell them a little fluff that's going to make them feel good because he doesn't want to hurt their feelings. So that they'll still tithe and so they'll still come back and so that they'll still, be dedicated to the church and they won't feel like, pastor them said this to them and hurt their feelings or made them feel less than a woman. That's why certain people shouldn't have certain conversations because certain things can't be sugar-coated. Certain conversations can't be fluffed up. Certain conversations you can't care about the person's feelings. You have to just be able to just tell the facts. But again, I think it's very interesting that all of a sudden, all these churches are going viral for all these relationship topics, and they're trying to tell women of where they're going wrong. Never seen that before. I don't know if y'all have, but I haven't. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And of course, you guys know I will see you in the next video. Love you.